Sens Summer Series.
Now, nice to see you, Meth.
Hey, guys.
You're the first person I watched that intro that didn't smile. I'm a little concerned.
Yeah, it threw me off. I didn't expect that. You guys have some nice graphics there. So, no, I'm happy to be here today, boys. Thanks for having me on.
Did you do that? Was that you, Wally? Is that you that put that pack together?
I don't know. I don't want to take credit for it just yet.
Well, if it wasn't me, it wasn't Graham, so it was obviously you.
I want to welcome in our very own John Dutton to the show. How are things on the ranch?
Things are good. Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't call it a ranch yet, and I can't claim that Yellowstone title just yet. But we're slowly chipping away at it here. We moved the landscaping to next summer, and for those listening in, I live out past Renfrew now on a farm property, so we're enjoying it. My wife's running her dog kennel. We're breeding Bernese mountain dogs. And I've been busy just doing a lot of work around the house. It's been fun. And I've been kind of following my old man around a lot too. And he's super handy. Grew up a farmer and doing some construction before he was with the police. So I'm learning a lot. I'm his little apprentice. And it's weird being bossed around. Kind of reminds me of being maybe an 8-year-old again playing hockey, but it's all good.
Meth, is this a preemptive strike? Because I know you're into the minor hockey. Like you're in it now. Yeah. Like you're full blazing right now. Watching 100%. The NHL playoffs right now, there's no way you can raise soft kids and hope they're going to go anywhere in hockey. Like the game has changed back. So now you are in the heart of the Ottawa Valley. You're going to be going to games in your pickup truck. If your kid has a bad game, he's going to sit in the back of the pickup after with the angry dog growling at him. Like, this is awesome. Now you're going to be the guy that comes in from the Ottawa Valley with the tough kids. Like, it's brilliant. It's brilliant.
I've had that conversation, Yorkie, and I know all of you can relate to this to a degree, just growing up, around the area here. But I've noticed, growing up, whenever we played the Valley, like the Ottawa Valley Titans or the Kingston Frontenacs, even sometimes in Osgood, they'd always have mutant children, right? Like big kids, probably just chewing on steak and potatoes every night. But so we're out here now, and I'd have that conversation with some of the parents, and they just laugh and be like, "Yeah, I mean, it makes sense, right?" When they're outside doing a lot of work most days, as opposed to sitting on the couch watching TV after school, it hardens you. So my son's definitely not that guy though. He's very technical. He loves Lego, and he likes his video games and stuff, but he's a good player. So we just had a tournament on the weekend in Gatineau. I can't get over, I'm veering off a little. I can't get over how stressful it is now. Like when I go back into town, never mind through downtown into Gatineau, just getting around with all the traffic lights and all the people on the roads. It's like I'm like white knuckling, like the stress and my blood pressure. And then I come back out here and I'm like, could you imagine doing that every day? And then you compound that over 25 years, what that does to you. So the hockey, yes, the hockey is stressful at times, but living out here has been fantastic. I love it.
Beth, do you have a pickup truck? You checking that box?
Of course I got a pickup truck.
Yes.
I still have Texas plates on it.
Yeah.
Are you going to get Meth? Are you going to get chickens though? You have to get chickens.
Graham, so we thought about that. We've got an old chicken coop at the back near one of the barns, but it needs a lot of work, and I'm obviously not a woodworker. So I think we're just trying to push as many expenses down the road as we can right now, and that's another one of them. But like chickens, I think a pig, and a bunch of, we're flip-flopping between rescuing horses and getting some cattle. I'd like cattle in our pasture because at least we can process one every year. So we get something out of it, but we'll see.
Have you been out to Donovan Acres? Have you seen Donovan?
I haven't. I heard about it though. I heard it's my wife follows his wife on Instagram. Tree, Tree. And apparently it's quite the place. So
Dono, you get you get maple syrup from the farm. He's got great meat. He's got chickens, fresh farm eggs. He's got some horses, Meth. You got to go out and visit, and then it could be Battle of the Farms. Meth. What's the name of your compound anyhow?
We don't have a name. We don't have a name right now, but we have a big sugar bush. We have one. They used to tap all the trees out there too. So again, there's That's another thing. There's always stuff to do here. Like I'm never bored. I'm always busy. And I think being retired now and the work I do with TSN is like I do like 22 games a year. It's very casual, right? So I have to fill my days with stuff. So this is good. It keeps my mind busy and sharp. And I can work the tractor now. And we've been putting up shelves in the garage and doing some landscaping. And I was gardening. I was planting tomatoes and jalapenos.
Nice.
I've got ground. So it's a big lifestyle change.
Fantastic.
Okay. Have you put a level on those shelves?
Yeah, of course I have.
So
Why?
I can remember because you're not handy.
No, I know. When you came over and helped me hang up some of the pictures downstairs because I wanted it done properly and I didn't want to ruin my drywall, right? So I was being very cautious. So you were more experienced. I'm like, just let Wally do it. But I'm a little better than I was before, Brent. So I'm good now. We're good.
Right.
Well, I didn't know you hang pictures.
So here, oh God,
I got a couple. I got a couple skates behind me. That
Convenient. Yeah.
So
Right?
Yorkie calls me on Friday. What are you doing? I'm like, you hang my TV for me? And I'm like, what do you mean?
Listen,
it's not any TV.
So
not any
I'm like,
TV.
I can hang a TV, but then he's like, it's fully framed out to this millwork, and I'm like, no, we're out, no chance. Because if it's off a little bit, you'll notice it. And I'm not.
Well, you told me
I'm
how
not
good
having
you told me how good you were, and you said you could do anything. I said, well, I got a TV.
I didn't say
I
that.
go, can you come? It's just all measuring, and then you say, I'm not doing it. I'm not being on the hook for that if it's wrong.
I don't want to listen to you complain. All right, Meth, we'll move on. Last thing is your spring hockey is now into June.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah,
Is
I
this
know.
it? Are we done, or is he going to continue to play?
No. And I'm shaking my head acting like I do enjoy it. He's got one tournament left with the Renfrew County Kings team that he's playing with right now. And we're in Kingston this upcoming weekend. We're staying at I'm not going to say, I guess I probably shouldn't announce the hotel, but it's basically a motel right off the highway. So that'll be a lot of fun for 3 nights.
Is
And
that
then,
right by the Invista Center?
I don't know where it is, but it's got 401 in the title, right? So anyway, we're there. Like you should have heard this guy answer the phone when I was the last guy on the team to book the reso because I was like flip-flopping on going to this thing. And I mean, it felt like we were like in the deep south, some guy that just lives at the hotel behind the counter. So it is what it is. I got one left, but no, we're enjoying it. And it's fun. You guys have all been there, I know, but I never realized how into it I would get. And I'm there now. Now I don't live vicariously through my kid. When the game ends, we move on. We talk about it maybe for a minute in the car and then we go home. But I don't get crazy. I just want him to work hard. If he's competing, I'm happy.
Well, you only talk for a minute because you've got him in the back seat and the dog's in the front.
No, Wally, the way it works in the valley, the cushy kids from Nepean and the nice West End, they go to Dairy Queen for a twisty cone. But the kids in the valley, if they have a bad game, they got to travel in the back of the pickup with the growling dog chained up to the back of the pickup on the way home. That's how it works. That's how you
full disclosure, I don't do that. I do not do that, people. Okay.
Yeah, no, Frank gets treated much better. Frank would be in the front seat, guaranteed. By the way, later in the show, we're giving away, because it's Meth on the show, we're going to give away a Meth bobblehead.
Yes.
Nice.
As
I'd
I
like
continue
a
to
Meth bobblehead.
What?
Where do you get these, Wally?
This is the Wally purge. Wally's purging his basement.
Wally's got it all, man. He's got a back room somewhere in his house, and he's got all kinds of memorabilia.
Oh,
I just found a bunch of 4 Mike Fisher prints we're going to give away at some point that are signed. I don't know where they ever came from. So anyway, we'll move on. Quickly, before we get to the Ottawa Senators, did you watch your little London Knights team win another Mem Cup last night?
I did. I was very happy for them. And it was actually, I thought they were going to run, like they started very slow, picked it up, not to get into the details of the game too much, but, and then it was tight at the end, obviously. And I think for them more than anything, I mean, like what a job the Hunters have done.
mhm.
I know a lot of it's recruiting and having, a sexy place to play that attracts young players, but you still have to go out there and do the legwork. And I know when I was playing in junior A, this was right after I was drafted by London, that, the previous summer I was playing for as a 16-year-old for the Kanata Valley Lasers, and Mark Hunter and the head scout, John McDonald, came into town. Mark drove right in all the way from London to watch me play that night. We went to Robbie's, an Italian place on Walkley Road, right by Jim Durrell, where I was playing that day. I had a huge plate of like fettuccine Alfredo and chicken, like 3 hours before the game. felt like dog shit the entire game, but Mark Hunter saw something. And so they do a fantastic job there. And I mean, I was lucky enough to cover them the last couple of years, actually, in the OHL finals when I was doing some broadcasting stuff. And it's just the whole thing. It almost feels like a family business when you're around the room. Dale's got all his buddies. They always come down to the room for beers after games in the coach's office. It's like a bit of a fraternity. But I think that's huge when it comes to just building up a team and having chemistry in the locker room. I mean, everyone feels like they're at home. And the way they can recruit and bring in some big names, and they've been competitive just about every season. So good for them.
That's funny, but you just brought back a memory. Hammering back your food 2.5, 3 hours before.
Oh, it's the worst. It's the worst. And I look back and I'm like, what the fuck was I doing? Like, what was that? But, because even then I wasn't doing that, right? But because Mark wanted to have a quick meeting with us prior to the game, we thought we'd have and God forbid I had something lighter, but this big, heavy dish. And I mean, I was young at least, and your metabolism processes it a little quicker. But yeah, that was rough.
When I played in the OHL, because this is how times have changed long before you did, I'd hammer at 4 p.m. for a 7 p.m. game. I'd have a steak, potato, salad, cookie, and ice cream. And I'm like, why do I always feel like shit in the first period? And I have a great third. It was like
by the time it's finally digested, you're rolling in the third period.
So wait a second. What time did you eat dinner for a game, Meth? Did you eat dinner?
We'd eat, normally pregame meal you have around 12:30, 1 o'clock. And then you'll go down between 1 and 3. I mean, that's subjective, obviously. Some guys sleep for an hour. Some guys put in a 3-hour shift. It depends how old they are usually. And then I'd have another little snack down in the snack room after my nap around like 4. That's what most guys do. And again, depends on I'd have some fruit, maybe a little bowl of oatmeal, and a coffee, and I'd head to the game. But you want to have a little bit of hunger in your belly, like when the puck drops. Like you don't want to be full keeled over on the bench. Like you want to feel light. So you're mostly just hydrated, hopped up on caffeine and whatever you add at 4 o'clock.
I thought you guys were eating around 4, like just before you came to the rink. Like I thought a full meal, like pasta, chicken parm.
No chance. No. Even in junior hockey, we'd all go as a 19-year-old, we were finished high school. So we do a little pregame skate in the morning, just a couple of us on the ice, like in our skates. And then we'd have our pregame meal, I think around like noon. And I was junior. So that's pretty commonplace now in sports, I would think.
Yeah, well, the media is now all beforehand with a big plate of pasta. We're at 6.
That's true. I'm aware.
Beth, did you play it? Beth, did you go to Europe? Did you go over to Europe during any of the lockouts or stoppages?
No, it wasn't worth. I mean, I've been over there for world championships, but I never played any hockey over there, like regular season. I remember the last lockout, 2012. We had a couple options in the DEL in Germany, and it just wasn't because it wasn't worth it for me, because I wasn't going to get paid enough to go over there like some of the skilled guys, obviously. But my insurance was still sky high because of my contract. So I'd be essentially playing for free, blocking shots in some European leagues. So guys like me, like I broke it down that way, and I thought I'm better off just power skating here at home, and not risking getting injured. And you're playing for nothing over there. So me, Phillips, Neil, a bunch of Zach Smith, a bunch of the other guys that went on that northern trip, we were all the guys that stayed back during the lockout and just skated in Canada with Schwartzy. Yeah.
The only reason I ask, guys, is I just brought back all this talk of food. The Swiss league, it doesn't. You'd go to a game. Everything in the Swiss league, you bus, right? And on the way to the games, the bus pulls over about 20 minutes before you get to the game, and you do a cake. And in German, it's called cake and Kuchen stop. So at like 5:30, you're hammering like an apple fritter, coffee, a pastry. So the first 2 periods of this game in Zurich, burping up cake, and I'm back to junior days. You feel like shit for the first 2 periods, but the cake.
They do things differently. Yeah, like we would have. I just from the world champion stuff, whether it was in France or Germany or Austria, even in Slovakia and Czech, they'd always have sparkling water, like a couple of cases of sparkling water in the room, and only that. And then we'd have to request like, don't get me wrong, I love sparkling water, but like it's an odd choice during a game when you're on the bench. So we'd have to request in water bottles and they'd bring them in and fill them up with regular water. So yeah, it's different over there for sure.
Gas or no gas, Wally? That's what they said. You go.
That's
gas
right.
or no
That's
gas.
right.
Yeah. I remember the first time I grabbed one in the like convenience store fridge, just going in to get a water and not paying attention. And that
Right?
first swig, oh yeah, you're like,
It's odd.
damn it. Damn it.
know.
And I think I bought 6 1-liter bottles one time, and I got them back to my room.
But that's what got me off pop. I used to drink, like, I look back at my childhood and God bless my parents, they're the best. But I'd come home from school and I had to have been maybe probably 10, 11, 12, whatever it was, maybe younger. And I'd have 2 Pepsis, full leaded, like sugar, caffeine, 2 of them. That was right when I got home with a plate of nachos. And then I dinner time would roll around and I would have 2 more Pepsis. And that would repeat every day for years. And I look back now and I'm like, what the fuck? Like, no wonder my teeth were awful. Like, it was getting cavities all the time. I felt like, and I was an active kid. So I'm always sweating and running at recess, coming in from recess in a full sweat. Like, I don't think I ever drank water. It was juice.
No, never. No,
Like,
and always a fully caffeinated Pepsi just to buzz you up before bedtime.
Yeah, like,
I don't know about you guys, but like we had the York family. There's 7 of us. Once a week, we'd order in, or you have to go pick it up because there's no Uber Eats. The Dirty Bird, like I don't think I've had KFC in like the last 10 years. We just hammer the Dirty Bird. Like, so how bad that is for you
all the time. Oh, those are good days.
RC Cola.
RC Cola was excellent. Yeah.
They still serve that or have that in the Pittsburgh press box.
Well, I have you for more of a tab kind of guy. I could see you
so
enjoying
funny
a
you
tab.
say that. My mom bought it and gave it to me one time, and I believe it was like I feel like I'm in grade 1 or at some nursery school. Anyway, I'm sure I had juice at some point. Let's move on. I know Yorkie's loving the chit chat.
I can't stop coughing. I've been inhaling sawdust for the last 2 weeks here, Meth. Because while we've moved into the house, there's still painting, and you guys know we have great painters, by the way.
Oh,
gotta give a shout out to Steve, our painter, has been awesome. But you gotta sand. So basically, that whole sanding process, Wally, because you're kind of. I think my.
Are they blocking off areas
up
with sheets? They have to, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
It doesn't really it doesn't really completely, cover you over, but we had that issue. Like when we moved in here in September, they weren't finished. They were still going at it here at the house, but we told our GC, we're like, we have to come in now. Like, our kids are in school in 3 days and we're coming from like a different area code. Right. So, long story short, we were inhaling a lot of drywall dust and smelling paint and all that shit for a good couple of weeks. And I don't want to know what that did to our bodies, but here we are.
How many boxes in your house are still unpacked?
But we've unpacked them all, brother. We had a lot of help. We had a lot of help, a lot of family, and like my in-laws, my mother-in-law, I should say, and Ellie, they were like maniacs unpacking everything. So, because we don't have a basement in our house, right? We only have like it's slab on grade, and we have like a large attic space with like an automated step system. So we have to carry everything that we're not using upstairs into those boxes. So we were like purging as much as we could to avoid having to do all that. So anyway, it's a different kind of build. I wish we had a basement because
why slab on grade? Is it just like
because we wanted a ranch style layout because we've just to fill the property out a little bit more instead of like some small 2-story. So it's a lot. It's got a big footprint with a lot of different areas, but yeah, like I don't know, don't like now I'm shooting myself a little bit because my kid, like, there are no areas to practice the shot. I don't want to park the cars in the garage in the winter because then Jack can't shoot, shit like that, so anyway, I'm a little nuts when it comes to that stuff, but anyway.
Well, I would think you would put it where the employees' quarters are. They must have where they live.
Yeah.
Okay, we're running out of time. I know we got like 7 minutes. Did you watch the playoffs?
This is no longer a sports podcast. It's home and garden. It's the home and garden.
Yeah, we were talking about everything else other than the Sens and hockey. Sorry, people.
How are yours?
I enjoy it though. It's fun for me though. Like this is what I enjoy talking about. So because the hockey talk is always yeah, you
Right?
know, who would you get on defense to make that team better? Or how much cap space do we have? No, we need a no, we need a better coach. No, we need it's you just go around in circles. But now there are some issues that I think the team needs to address, maybe. But like when you guys are watching these playoffs right now, like to me, it gets pretty freaking clear what Ottawa might need to work on a little bit more and where they need to improve, right? Like you're seeing it now with these high-end teams, like the depth alone and the size on the back end, the consistent goaltending, like you're seeing it now. And it's like, that's the recipe, I think, these days. So we'll see.
Meth, big, long, rangy. That's probably that's at the top of everyone's shopping list right now. You can't. You've talked to players right now, and I talked to a few guys in the game. It's like this time of year, you can't get far unless on your blue line you got big, tall, rangy guys that are hard to play against.
Yeah, and I know people for a while, I'm like, because it gets repetitive. Like when I was always doing the show with Wally, and when we would post stuff online, that was always a very like strong talking point of mine, right? And I think people start to roll their eyes, and I know a lot of the numbers people maybe don't always agree with all those points, which is understandable, because the numbers aren't always very sexy with some of the bigger guys, right? But you're seeing how effective they are when the games get a little heavier. And I think I really like the way you put it there, Yorkie, where they cover so much ice, right? When you're in the D zone and you've got like two big boys back there that move pretty well, because that's important. But they've got good sticks and they're rangy. They just snuff out plays, and it kind of flies under the radar because they're not like the sexy, Erik Karlsson pivot into towards the wall, scoop the puck up away from the opposing player, and then skate it up the ice. It doesn't always look that way, but it makes a big difference. And so like when I look at Ottawa's top four right now, I like it, but it feels light. Like it just feels light. Now, it's easy to always constantly cherry pick these things because they've made improvements. I mean, that third pairing was terrific. I thought, like Cleveland, perfect example right there to make your point, right? Your third pairing was probably your most consistent pairing. Granted, I know they weren't playing the same. They didn't have the same opponents, but they were so consistent in that round against Toronto, I thought. And they're going to make the odd mistake, but I thought overall, like they flourished. They didn't regress or kind of go into a shell. Like they weren't shy. And so I was very pleased with those two. I don't know what Ottawa, you guys probably have a better pulse than I do with this stuff when it comes to the moves and where they can maybe make an addition. But I don't know if that pairing stays intact next year, depending on Clevin and if they elevate him. But I was very pleasantly surprised with the way they performed.
So then my point, I guess, would be, are you worried about Nick Jensen having, and we don't know the hip surgery?
And like, it's been odd, eh? Like if you guys have been watching around the league, there's been a lot, like not a ton of it, but more than usual, where we haven't, teams have not been disclosing after the season what was going on, with all the nagging injuries. Same with Austin Matthews, and everyone can speculate. And I know the word starts to get around and people start to talk a little bit, but I legitimately have no idea what's going on with Nick Jensen. So it could have been his hip, or maybe you guys probably already know. But I mean, that is alarming to me. It is his hip. Okay.
But I don't know if it was scraped or whatever that term is, or if it was just surgery.
But it is weird though, right? Like Adam Lowry just had hip surgery. They announced it. They're going to say 5 to 6 months. But like with Ottawa, there's no disclosure whatsoever. It's just.
So wait, so Graham, that's what it is? Yeah. It's 5 to 6 months for that hip surgery?
For Adam Lowry, it is, but it could be a different hip.
There are different kinds.
Like, is it like a resurfacing? Is it a labral tear? Like what?
Resurfacing.
What is it?
Well, I would assume based on his, on his availability towards the end of the season, despite not pulling the plug and just going for the surgery, that kind of tells me that it might be relatively serious. Because if they weren't on that run, you have to think he would not have finished. Probably would have had that thing addressed sooner. So I am a little worried there. So that does leave the door open for going after a guy. I just like, where do you even begin? I mean, you're going to overpay some guy at free agency, maybe. That usually happens, and they almost never work out. But we'll see. I don't know.
Geez, you look, Meth, to the point you made earlier. Like, you don't always have to pay. Like, look at Toronto, for example. Who on their blue line, who I thought under the radar, one of their better players was that Benoit kid. Like,
I know.
That's the thing. Like, if you're, like you look at Ottawa's like they're having pro scouting staff meetings right now. I saw Dale McTavish and DeMaio and all the guys were chatting. That's the job here. Go out and find these guys and find those diamonds in the rough that maybe haven't gotten an opportunity somewhere that can come in and do like I thought Benoit, like this, what is he, 6'4", skates, competes. Like those are the guys.
Ottawa had their opportunity, Yorkie, for some of those types of players. Remember a couple of years ago when, I mean, they were really dog shit on the blue line. And I think guys like Gavrikov, there was a couple fellas in LA. I'm trying to remember all the names that were available. I'm just a little slow right now. It's too early, but that's where your scouting comes into play. And you think, okay, look, like, you know, that guy's flying under the radar right now on that team. He's their fourth or fifth guy, but he moves very well. He's on a good team. I think he'd be a good guy for our fourth on, you know, or whatever it might be. I think you're right. That's where the secret sauce is. It's your scouting and then taking a chance and being bold and going after that player, right? Instead of, you know, the marquee name at 33 years old, who's probably going to get overpaid, probably won't play his last 2 years of that deal. Like those are the guys you want to avoid unless you're in the hunt right now and you're a legitimate contender next year. And okay, you can afford to burn maybe his last 2 years. Like you're right. I think you go after a guy that's a little under the radar. You make a hockey trade and you run with it. But who would you guys move up front right now that has any value? Like that wouldn't hurt your team. Like I see Batherson being floated, but like
no chance.
Yeah, like look at his contract. Like why would you move that?
Meth,
I don't know.
Think about this. Everyone's talking. Got to get more skill up front. Got to get your top six more skill. You need big guys. You need big guys that have skill. Okay, let's trade Drake Batherson, who's our biggest, rangiest, most skilled right winger on a great contract. Like just pick. Like if you look at the depth chart, if you move the Drake, your right side becomes. Well, David Perron plays both sides, but he's a righty who's had a great season, but he's older. Claude Giroux, who's a great player, but he's older. Zetterlund, unproven, and who's next?
Amadio.
And
Michael Amadio, who I love as a player, but you can't move Drake Batherson because you're trying to get more skilled. And for all the debate on his play, I thought he had a good playoff. Like he had a couple of mistakes here and there, but
okay.
That's a guy that's
I think with Wally. I think with Batherson too, though. I think he's not used to playing the way he played in the playoffs, right? Like he's more of a feel out the game kind of. He's kind of streaky and he'll disappear in coverage a little bit. And all of a sudden, toe drags a guy and buries it, right? Whereas in the playoffs, you could tell he was playing with a bit of a chip on his shoulder. Maybe he felt like he had to get very physical and play really hard and finish all his checks. And he started taking all these penalties, right? He was playing a little above and beyond the way he normally would play. And I think that experience will suit well moving forward now, right? Like you guys understand what I'm saying?
Yep.
So
absolutely.
I again, just to finish that point, I would not move him. So that leaves us with like who and what now. Like, so if you're going after a guy on D, maybe you do have to hit up free agency, but they don't have a lot of cap space. So I don't know, but you're right. You can get a cheap guy, fill in the blank, elevate Clevin, get a cheaper player down on that third pairing with Matt and Paolo. I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah. I'll play devil's advocate though. I think like if you go out and if you sign a free agent forward who's skilled, that could create the surplus to go ahead and trade Batherson for like defenseman, for example. So I think like there would have to be a bunch of moving pieces. I don't think in a vacuum you just go ahead and trade Drake Batherson because you think he's the guy that you need to move out of the group. But I think if you add skill up front, then that might give you the flexibility to consider it. But
that's a big brain energy right there. I needed to hear that.
Are you getting better though?
Depends on who the defenseman is or whatever piece you're getting back, right? Like, if you add a big defenseman, I know we've talked about like Kesselring several times on the podcast already, but like if you can add a big guy who has a little bit of skill, who has the defensive aptitude to play well, I think you can consider it because Batherson's only got 2 years left on his deal, so he'll command a lot of money. So
last question. I know you got to go.
That's all good.
You watched the playoffs, and I'm curious if you sat and thought back to 2017 as you're watching them make the.
Oh man, run. It's like anybody who goes on a bit of a run. I don't like sounding pathetic, hinging all the success we had on a run that we didn't even get to the Stanley Cup final in, but that was the furthest I'd ever gone. So I always talk about it. But Yeah, like I think, like, I watched Corey Perry, for example. I won a championship with him in junior. I know the man very well. The fact that he's still able to get up and do it, like, and then you see that and you think, man, maybe I can do that. Maybe I can still play. And then I get up in the morning and like my plantar fasciitis and my left heel hurts, my knee hurts, my back. And I'm like, and you can't even talk to me until I have my coffee, right? Like, so that's always a stark reminder, like, Meth, like, you're not a player anymore. Fucking move on from that. But I miss the bright lights. I miss the competing. Like, I don't miss the regular season. I fucking hated the regular season. I hated the grind. I hated how long it was, because you ask a stay-at-home defenseman or you ask a skill forward, they're two different perspectives, right? Yeah, so when you're playing every other night, taking shots, boxing guys out, getting hit with the puck in the back of the leg, you're playing in the NHL, but it's not the same as playing in the NHL as like a skill guy who gets more of that glory, gets to put his hands up after scoring a big goal. Like, we don't experience that, right? So it does feel like more of a job for players like me when I played, right? And then practice was no different. Like, okay, guys, it's time to do PK stuff. So you're sitting taking shots from your own teammates now. Like, it's never ending. And I'm not looking, this isn't a poor me situation. I'm very grateful, but I'm also allowed to complain about my job like everyone else does.
Yes.
And
I agree.
So to your point, Wally, I miss it. I miss the playoffs more than anything. That was like the pinnacle of my career. And the same applied in junior. If the games mattered, players like me were appreciated more. I mean, we just talked about Simo Benoit. You don't really talk about him during the regular season, but you talked about him during the playoffs. Same with Clevin, Matt Paolo. That just proves the value of those types of players. And if I go back in time, I would have changed some stuff in training, maybe taken it a little easier at times, but I don't regret anything now.
Meth, hold on a sec. Meth, June 21st, you're going to be 40, man.
It's funny. I'm such a hermit that my parents, my wife, they're like, what do you want to do? Like, we have a party, want to have your buddies over. What are we doing? I'm like, all I can think is everyone I know has extended family and like 3 or 4 kids. I don't want all these people in my house. I'm like, so we're going to keep it intimate. My financial advisor, Rob Hooper's coming into town. We're pretty good friends. He's an agent as well now too. And my brother and his family and my parents and my wife's parents. And that's it. We're barbecuing. I might do a little bit of golf during the day, and it's going to be low key.
You are morphing into a hermit. You've gone out to a recluse. You're like a recluse. You're like living out in the middle of nowhere. You don't want to see anybody.
I don't have to interact with any idiots ever. I left the city. People out here drive normal. I can get around. Everyone's friendly. I go to the cash registers. There are a bunch of old ladies at the checkout. They talk to you. They ask you about your day. Like, I'm, if anything, more upset that I didn't do this sooner. But we're full out here. There's no room for anybody else. So look elsewhere.
I heard a rumor. The true or false is one of the reasons you left your old hood because they banned racket sports in your neighborhood. Like, I heard there was a pickleball ban.
Oh no. Is that a?
I heard it was too noisy and people complained.
No. I know. So we actually backed onto a farm property in Manotick where we were in Rideau Forest, but we never had any issues like that. No, like I hear the pickleball is very loud. I haven't played it, but yeah, no, it's we never had that issue. Yorkie, I wish I could run with it, but nope, not me.
You should
Meth didn't like the speeders on his street.
We should see Wally play pickleball. He's quite the athlete.
I mean, it looks like fun. You don't have to run too much. Like, I tried playing tennis again when we were down south. This was like still like
too much
5 years ago. I had just retired, and like the pounding on your legs is significant. So I do understand, despite how annoying the sounds are with pickleball. I get it. It's like you're playing ping pong, but you're moving a little bit more, and you can play with more people, and it's outside. It's fun. I get it.
Okay, we'll let you go, but I will offer up my services to barbecue for your group if you
no, Wally, no amount of money. You could pay me to come over here and do that, and I still would turn you down. Okay.
Okay, fair enough.
Anyway.
Appreciate your time, Meth, as always. Nice to
Thanks,
see you.
guys. We'll do it again soon. Thank you.
All right.
See you,
See you,
Meth.
pal.
See ya,
There goes
Meth.
Marc Methot.